discussion together.
So the next question said, who taught you about sex? Did your parents teach you about it? Did your friends? Did you learn on social media or some type of media outlet where you read about it?
My mom taught me. She taught me about the birds and the bees or whatever when I was younger. But
What's the birds and bees?
Sex.
Okay, I'm just
Love and lust, whatever. But she told me what she wanted me to hear. She didn't really tell me everything. I learned more about it like as I got older, like 8th grade into high school and stuff.
What happened in 8th grade in high school?
Friends talked about it and stuff.
Alright. Emil, what about you?
Well, obviously, social media wasn't around when I was younger, so yeah. So I would say my dad to a certain extent, but I don't know, man. In the hood, where we come from, it's not really a discussion that people have. It's more they don't tell like the how. Like they don't tell you about it. You hear about it, but they don't tell you the how and the proper thing. So. I would say I got it from my dad. My mom didn't really broach that subject with me at all. So most of the time, most stuff came from my dad, from my friend, which is probably the worst place to learn. But it happens.
Dad, what about you?
Well, I got older brothers and sisters, and a lot of times, you be doing things, and they end up not knowing that you're around when they doing things, and I see what they be doing. And my mother kind of like explained it to us to a degree after the fact that we knew what was going on. You learn from your older ones, you learn from the streets, you learn from people around you and stuff like that. One thing she did tell us, don't be bringing no babies in this house, but we were men, and stuff like that. She taught us about protection and, not, having a child that you're not able or ready to take care of on your own and stuff like that. And not only that, is that my oldest brother, he passed when I was about 16 and stuff like that. And, he left behind 6 children. And we were their fathers and, at that time because there was no male figure around to take care of them. So that let me know to, take care of sex in a different way. You don't want kids all over the place because that destroys a lot of stuff.
All right.
What about you?
So who taught me about sex? Oh man, mine was funny, right? Because I was, in Niagara County, Erie County, Western New York, we was allowed to play high school sports in middle school. So I started learning about play JV as an 8th grader, played quarterback for football, played JV basketball, and then by the time I got to 9th grade, I was playing varsity basketball. And it was just you learn from older teammates. My dad talked about it briefly, about stuff I already knew some stuff.
I ain't show you everything.
No, I already knew some stuff because I was playing with I was a 14-year-old playing with 18-year-old guys in the basketball team in high school.
Yeah,
so I was exposed to a lot more. So that was kind of different. My parents were like, well, use protection, use a condom, use protection. But when you're young, you probably tried it without it once. Oh, this is different. And then I became a teen father and I turned 19 years old in my freshman year in college. But like I said, my dad said, well, you got a responsibility to take care of. So there was different things like that, and my daughter's been around ever since then, my oldest daughter. So number 9 says, man, how do you feel about hypersexualization in music and media and the effect on young girls as far as their worth and their body image?
It's a very in-depth, good question. I believe that it's detrimental to young women because it makes them believe that men think that, and we do. Okay, let me not say that men don't think this way. Men do. Men want sex. I'm not going to sit there and sugarcoat it. The difference is, though, that doesn't make you understand that's not all men want, right? So, like, if you're only going to try to get men in that way, it's going to only be for temporary reasons, right? You're going to only have them for a short time period. So it's like women out here on social media looking for attention and young girls looking for attention and things of that nature. That's cool. You'll get attention, but you're only going to get sexual attention. And that's not going to mean that he's going to make you his wife or make you look at you as somebody he wants to be with long term. I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, most men that I know don't want to deal with a girl who's on social media looking for attention all the time, right? It's not a business or something like that. He don't really want. Now, he may have sex with her, right? Those kind of women, but he's not going to look at her long term. So I think sometimes women conflate sexual attention with relationship attention. So we gotta we gotta do a better job of teaching our young ladies that there's sexual attention and then there's a relationship attention. And those two, they look the same, but they split at some point, right? And it's like you gotta be a decipher when the road is splitting. And with these kind of behaviors, you're gonna be splitting toward that sexual attention only side. So
Jay, like, yeah, you ain't on social media. You past that.
I feel like they be trying to look and act like certain people like Cardi B and stuff. They be trying to fit that image, and it's really not them. Like that's not how they are, or whatever. But they be trying to, like, I don't know, act bougie or whatever. I don't know.
that's true.
I think the
You trying
women
to fit that
today
image.
is a little bit different than when I came up because, you know, they are more revealing. You know, they want more people to see what they shape like, what they look like, you know, by wearing less. You know, I've seen some women wear stuff you can almost see through. Back in my day, that was unheard of. You
It's
know,
frowned upon, probably.
was that?
It was frowned upon.
Well, a
back
lot
in
of
the
things
day.
was frowned upon
Yeah.
then, you know, so, I mean, it's more or less like a person with low self-esteem. You know, if you don't give a young lady something to think that she's worth more than shaking her booty or, you know, a big chest or, you know, just flirting with guys for in general because she want to be with a guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's more to life than just waking up in the morning looking for a man. There's more to life than men.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, and they got to start looking at it because men wake up, they don't just think about women, they think about women, but that ain't no 24/7 thing. They think about how to make money, how to be successful, and how to go on doing other things and not just, oh, this is my swag or whatever. Women gonna love me because of what I do or what. Women looking for somebody that's stable and somebody that's trying to go further in life. But when they're younger, they don't look at it.
I say now they younger.
Not when they're younger,
get
they don't
older.
look at it. They'll overlook a good thing right in front of them. It's like you can't see the forest because you're looking at one tree, you know, and the rest of the forest is out there. You don't see how beautiful the world is because you're looking at one thing, and it's more to it than that. The self-esteem is just so low.
All right, now we're gonna shift gears. We're gonna talk about some current events and some sports. So sports. What's the big thing going on right now? We're talking about the Kevin Durant trade, the LeBron James situation with Russell Westbrook and Kyrie Irving or LeBron James and Kyrie Irving getting back together, and the Russell Westbrook trade going over to Brooklyn. Kevin Durant. There's a lot of rumors and speculations going around that. What do you guys think about that?
Well, personally, I think that Kevin Durant should stay where he at. I don't know where he's planning on going. Like, where do you think? Because whoever he goes to is going to send so much back in return. Like if he goes to Miami, Miami doesn't have enough assets that Brooklyn would want. And if they did happen to send out Bam or Jimmy Butler and a couple of shooters, guess what? He's gonna be back in Brooklyn, basically. Like he's in the worst situation he's in right now.
Absolutely.
So he's gonna have to stay there. I think the only caveat I would say is one sleeper team out there. Not really a sleeper team. We talk about it now. The only team that has the assets that I think Brooklyn will covet, and the kind of team that he can go to and actually flourish still, is the Golden State Warriors, right? Because they had those young people. They got Poole. They have Moses Moutier. They have Kuminga. They have Wiseman. They have some picks, and they still have Steph, Dre, and Clay. So they still have that nucleus, so they can give up a couple young pieces and some draft picks and not ruin their whole team. Most teams can't do that. Even the Phoenix Suns don't have the ability to send. I mean, what are you going to do? But last thing, if I had my option, if I'm the Phoenix Suns though, I don't think they can do it for that rule. But I would trade Devin Booker for Kevin Durant straight up.
That wouldn't be a bad trade. Not too bad. Jay, what's your stuff on that?
I'm not really into basketball, but my favorite team, the Warriors, so I'll let them have Kevin Durant for that.
All right. So what's going on with football now? Any major news of football going on?
Right now, let me see. It's the calm before the storm. Football season is about to start
getting
ramping
rolling.
up. So it's not much happening that's like been front page newsworthy. Yeah.
Now I did read something earlier. It was a professional baseball player. He turned down $440 million worth 15 years to get traded for the for the Washington Nationals. I forgot his name. You have to look it up real quick. I turned my phone off. But yeah, can you look that up for me? He turned down a $440 million deal for 15 years to play for the Washington Nationals.
I play for the Idaho Nationals. I don't care what you say to me. I'll be in Alaska.
But he's looking to get traded though, so I guess they're trying to keep him there. Juan Soto. Okay, so Juan Soto turned down a 15-year, $440 million deal to get traded to another team. I guess he wants to compete for a championship. What do you guys think about if somebody wants to compete for turn down $440 million to compete for MLB championship?
He sound more like a team player. Like he rather stay with. Is he like he's staying up the same team?
So he want to get traded. So he turned down $440 million to get traded.
So he turned out an extension with his current team.
Yes.
That's dumb.
In order to, because he wants to get traded to another team.
Correct.
Well, here's the deal.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
Show
man.
me the money.
Get your bread, man. Like I ain't got no problem with it. Now depends, right? If you would have made a bunch of money and you want to win a championship, you want to forego some millions, all good. But if you ain't never had no real money, nah, man, I'm taking that bread. So
That's almost half $1 billion. That's when you get back for the next 15 years.
yeah.
All right.
That's a fine thing to do, but I look at it this way. You know, if he want to get traded, he want to go. He already got money. Let him do what he has to do. You know, I mean, when you look back at it, you can't take none of it with you. You know, I mean,
That's true.
That's true.
But while you're here, you can show those
good to
better. While you're here, you can show those
it's good
better.
to have, but you know something? You see a whole lot of people, a whole lot of money, very disappointed. You know, because money isn't everything that people think. We would love to have it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I want it myself, but then again, I want to know how to be able to be successful with it in a way whereas I don't go crazy. Nobody come looking for me for extra money. I've seen players go to the NBA and they can't leave the streets without their friends following them because they got a few dollars. Next thing you know, they back on the streets with their friends. So I don't know. The money it's where your heart is.
Gotcha.
It's where your heart is. I mean, money ain't everything. I mean, well, see, I'm at that age that I look at it.
It's not
You
everything.
can chase it. You can be money chasers or whatever. We all gonna chase it until we go. You know, but if you don't get it, is it the end of the world?
Well, he has the position. The point is, he has the position to get it.
Yeah.
He ain't chasing the ball. He's like, yeah, all you gotta do is sign the name.
But then
yeah.
again, we still don't know his background. We're saying that because we know our background.
Yeah.
You know, why a person does things we don't even know. You know, this guy might have land over in Europe somewhere. So,
So next one. So
Yeah.
domestic violence, professional sports, and their responsibilities. How you guys feel about that? Domestic violence for professional athletes, and how should they handle certain situations? Because we've seen certain instances where women have attacked men, and they retaliated. And so, what do you feel like the men should do in certain situations with a woman that's abusive?
Leave.
Well, I think
Is it Lee?
Good question. Good answer.
that's a great answer.
That's a good
I
answer.
personally believe that we have to do it. First of all, if you're whether you're a professional athlete or just a regular person, domestic violence is a no. And I caution this to all my women to all the ladies because men can be very dangerous, right? And we talk about this from like if you have a man who's physically violent to you in any way, shape, or form,
Oh, you gotta leave.
you gotta go. Like you gotta find a way to get up out of there because that man can really hurt you. Now, there are times where you're right, where a woman is the aggressor. We've been in those kind of situations before. As a man, you can't retaliate because you are stronger than her. I know it's not fair.
That's true. That's true.
It's not fair. It's not
That's
right.
true. That's true.
You have to just leave. Matter of fact, speaking of this, Mikal Bridges. You know the Mikal Bridges from the Charlotte Hornets.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, he just went through that with his wife. You know, reportedly, allegedly, he's beat her down, beat her really badly, man. And she posted pictures up. I mean, she looked like she was bruised, bruised beyond belief. And it's like he was up for a contract extension.
He's gonna lose millions of dollars.
I don't think he's going to play in the NBA again. Honestly, I don't think he's going to play in the NBA again. And I don't feel sorry for the guy because it's like, dude, no matter what she did,
Yeah.
you can't react that way. We got to teach young men, especially, you have to react a certain way. You got to know how to react. Like, no matter, I don't care what she did to you, right? If she was attacking you, you can restrain her if you want, but you got to be able to leave, and a lot of times women will get in a situation, they want you to stay there and go back and forth with them. My philosophy is always to leave. I'm out.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to stay there and no.
It's better to leave because you physically stronger than she is.
It's not going to end
There's
well.
nothing she can really do to hurt you unless she hit you with something that, you can't recover from. But, the longer you stay in, the crazier it gets.
Yeah,
That's why you said leave, right? Because if something happens, no matter what, as the man, you are going to get the charge, no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
You gotta go. And he just cost himself. He's up for
probably $30 million a year.
Yeah,
no, $20 million to $30 million a year for a domestic abuse situation.
Well, you got to look at it. Domestic abuse is so bad now that nobody wants to respond to it because when they do, somebody gets shot at and everything else. And
what's crazy?
That's not good.
I've seen a situation like this. Literally, I just read about this. There was a girl getting beat in a car in Georgia at a gas station. A guy who was just pumping gas saw the girl in the car with her boyfriend or whatever he was at the time, saw him beating on her. He walks over to intervene. The guy ended up shooting him. He lost his life trying to interject on another domestic violence situation. And this is what people don't understand, especially my ladies who say, we got to protect women. Yes, I get it. We do have to protect women. But at the same time, we got to understand this is the kind of outcome that can happen. And what if that's your son who goes to protect somebody else that he doesn't know, he ends up losing his life. So when people see somebody recording with a phone, why he didn't step in there? Well, this is the kind of thing that you can lose your life. You can lose your life over, man. I mean, it's a slippery slope. It's sad, but that really happened, man.
And I know a brother and a son and a father both got killed doing that, trying to break up a fight between a man and a woman. Mm-hmm. Both of them got shot at different times in life. One in Detroit, one in the Falls, and it's just crazy. It's sad to see. You want to protect somebody, but 2 generations taken off for the same thing, domestic violence. It's.
Hey y'all, this episode is brought to you by That Good Peace, the luxury relaxation brand promoting peace, mental healthiness, and presence. Be sure to head over to thatgoodpeace.com to check out all of our handmade candles, teas, and essential oils to levitate your senses, teleport your mind, and manifest your mood. This week's featured candle is Daydreaming About Bearded Bay. To experience this candle for yourself, use the code LFMM4 at checkout for 20% off all of our products.
Got another one, Corey Miss. PWIs versus HBCUs. What's your take on that?
I went to a PWI. I obviously do it, with the same school. And if I had to do it again, I really would rather have gone to an HBCU. The people that I've met from HBCUs, the love and affection they have for their university, like the pride that they show in their university. I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't have it, right? Yeah, I'm not wearing no Kanisha shirts around. I mean, it's cool, but it's not the same. For the most part, most people that I know who have graduated from HBCU, I mean, they have so much pride in their university. I don't have that, and I don't know why. I'm not going to say because I don't know what it is, but the fact is, being around Black people in that capacity, you can just see you identify differently. You love your university. You love where you were at. I don't have that. The way I don't think you had either. But
I can't say that because I see his daughter with Kanisha shirts on, and I have Kanisha's jacket and all of that. Where he had made sure that we've gotten them, and matter of fact, Kamori had on one yesterday.
So I think it's different when you're an athlete.
Mm-hmm.
Again, they kind of celebrate you at PWI. So we're celebrating. When I played, we're celebrating. Had a great career, so people remember you. Still come back home, stuff like that. At HBCUs, they really don't focus on athletics. So it depends on what you're going there for. Like I just look at stuff like this, like. At PWIs, you get a stipend every month. HBCUs, they don't give out stipends for HBCUs. I look at the facilities. Facilities at a predominantly white institution, you playing major arenas. You got the dorms. You got townhouses. You go to other places for HBCUs, they don't have the same type of living situations. Unless you go to Hampton, Hampton has some nice places, and North Carolina A&T has a pretty nice place to play at. But for the most part, and again, I haven't been to all of them, but the ones I've been to, they do not take care of the athletes the way they should take care of the athletes.
That's true, but here's the thing though. Like we understand why that happens, right? But that's a kind of a separate discussion in my opinion. Because like yes, we are definitely down in terms of the economics of it, right? Economically, we don't have the same kind of, we can't compete monetarily with the PWIs. But I'm talking about just association in pride and university. Now I'm talking about athletics.
We're talking about sports in this one.
Oh, okay.
So
Well,
just
about
about sports.
yeah, if you're talking about athletics, I'm still going to push kids to go to HBCUs. That's the only way we're going to get it better. And like, yes, the PWIs will have more money and everything, but they're using our talent and our labor to get that money, to get said money.
Now, what do you think it's going to take to get that back? Because you have certain athletes. We had a kid. He was a top 10 player in the country. I want to say 2 years ago. He went to Howard.
Howard, I know.
He went to Howard. Bowl.
No. Is it Bowl?
I think it's his son, whatever.
Yeah.
But very talented, top 10 player in the country. His draft stock, he went from being a lottery pick. He's not even mentioned at all. Because they don't have the facilities to treat that type of kid.
That was not that wasn't facilities though. That was more. I think it was COVID. Remember?
It was COVID.
It was COVID, so they didn't have a season. So he ended up transferring out. They didn't remember when he went there. COVID hit, so they didn't. But
he played the first year though.
And I think he got
he
hurt.
averaged like 10 points a game or something like that.
He probably got hurt.
And again,
But it's like, but is that on the HBCU or is that the fact that he just wasn't as good as we thought he was?
But now, if he goes somewhere, if he goes to North Carolina or Duke, does he excel? Right?
Maybe not.
Maybe not. But I'll tell you one thing: if he goes there, he's still a top 10 draft pick because I went to Duke. You average 10 points at Duke, average 10 points at Howard.
Yeah, but okay, that's true. But remember, you're talking about 0.001% of the population in that situation, right? So for that particular person, maybe. But for the average kid going to school, they're not going to be a top draft pick, right?
Yeah.
They're not going to be top draft pick, NFL, NBA, whatever. So the average kid is not going at. They're going to get a regular college experience. What's going to be a better college experience? Outside of athletics, it's probably going to be at an HBCU, especially if you're a black person, the way you identify the people that you're going to associate yourself with. Yes, if you're going for sports, it may be different, but I still attest that if you're a great player, if LeBron James had gone to Howard, you don't think he's going to be LeBron James still?
I don't think he goes to Howard.
Maybe not, but
it's not even
He
going to
came
happen.
out of high school.
Carmelo Anthony went to Syracuse when Syracuse was not what it was.
But
right?
Syracuse is always a top 20 program.
They were.
They won the national championship team, but they're a top 20 program.
They were a nice program, but you don't think that Carmelo Anthony would have went somewhere and could have went to HBCU and dominated? They just don't go. I mean, if that's what it is, the top players don't usually go there. So especially in basketball.
And why? We just had a conversation. We just talked about it, right?
I played the first year.
Money.
Facility. I was like, what?
What's his name? Travis Hunter. He went to a HBCU. He had like 50 offers or something. He chose to go to Jacksonville
State's a little different. You got Deion Sanders, the head coach.
Sure.
He's pushing it heavy on social media. He's going to get professional scouts, NFL scouts, to practice every day. But you have a high profile coach, and again, Deion can leave and go coach at a Power 5 conference.
Yeah, I think.
But he wants to grow the HBCUs, but it has to be 20 Deions for that to happen.
That's not. I agree with you. It's more difficult in football because in football you need so many more pieces in order to make a quality program. But I still attest in basketball. The number one, if Zion or maybe not Zion, bad example. But if a top player goes to an HBCU as a top, one of the top basketball players, he can change the program's life because he's that good. Football, even with Hunter, you need a whole bunch of pieces. You can have Hunter, but your team can still suck, and he can just be really good. So in basketball, I think it's easier if they would do it in basketball. Football, you need a whole draft class, right? It's hard to do that. You know what I'm saying?
So what about another one? Next one. So therapy for black men. What's your take on therapy for black men?
I think it's needed, man. It's something that we don't talk about in the black community often, especially for black men. We're taught to be strong, to stop crying, boy, and all that other stuff, because then we know how cruel the world is. But we are changing our view and our perspective on therapy, and I believe that now it's becoming it's acceptable, right? So I used to be the person that was like never say about going to therapy, but now I understand maybe people need it, right? Like it can be something that can help us, But I also don't believe that everybody needs therapy. You know, so everybody needs therapy. No, I don't think that. But I think that it's definitely something that we should be more open to and accepting in our community for sure.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I think it's very much needed because the reason I believe that is most young black men, they come from the projects or from a lower place in the hood. And when they come out, they get into an environment that they know nothing about, in a world they know nothing about. And some of them leave from rags to riches. And once you leave from rags to riches, you don't have nobody to explain how to do certain things. You think you own the world, you can do anything you want to do. I mean, you can go out and you can rob somebody, you can beat somebody up, you can have somebody physically hurt in a situation. And when they do these things, it's a mental thing because they have not grown into a place where they need to be. Nobody has taught them about wealth. Nobody has taught them how to handle a position that they're going to that they've never been before. I mean, you're going from, how would you say, from the bar to the Taj Mahal or something like that, or just a figure of speech, and you don't know how to act in this place because you've never been there before. And you just coming right from a place that nobody taught you anything. You need somebody to slow you down, sit down, let me teach you a few things. Let me show you how this is operating. You have, how would you say, people that's in the business take like LeBron James. You got people like not Cook, but Magic Johnson. Like these people who are entrepreneurs, along with playing the sports, they were mentored. Somebody's taught them. They sit down and they let them know you just can't do everything that you want to do and expect to stay on top. Some things you got to do. What happens if you get a blown out knee or something like that? How does this work with your mind? How does this make you react? Now do you start tearing up the world because you cannot get what you want to get? I think they all need therapy.
Okay. Much so.
I think, especially as a black boy, you need therapy, especially if you went through trauma or whatever, because most of the time you don't want to talk to people about your feelings or whatever because you feel like they're soft. And they really help you. Like, therapists, they help you talk. And, like, they make it known that it's okay, whatever it is, bro. So, yeah, thank you. Need therapy.
I mean, I think, like I said, I think everybody needs some form of therapy at some point in time, life or not, right? They help you problem solve, they help you go through, figure out things, right? So if you need some assistance, if you do go through some trauma in life, how can I get through it without affecting anyone else, right? Because everyone has their own way.
Harm your body or whatever.
Yeah. So that's something you definitely do.
Yeah, because a lot of times people just ego trip because they got a little bit more than somebody else, and it's not about that.
Oh. Next one says, what do you wish you knew at 13, 18, and 21?
Ooh.
We start with you going 13, so you ain't 13, and you ain't get to 18 yet, but it's around 13.
Everybody not your friend. Everybody not real.
That's true.
That's true. I get that. That is absolutely true.
That works for everybody.
Yeah.
13. I wish I knew that, I was poor. I wish I knew I was broke. You said 18.
18.
I wish I knew about investing and how to, going to college. If I knew then what I know now, I would have taken that refund check that I was getting at college and would have bought a house and had my friends living there to pay rent, and I probably would have had a multi-million-dollar real estate empire at this point in time because if I'd have known that. So 18 and 21 is pretty much the same. I knew about investing. We just didn't get taught that in our community. My dad did a great job teaching me how to save money, which I'm thankful for. So I never go broke because I'm always putting money aside. But he didn't understand investing. And so he didn't, those are the things that, and nobody, the projects, man, nobody did that stuff. So how to invest my money.
It's all about sharing. 13, 18, 21, learning how to share with somebody else. That's basically what it is.
Sure. All right.
And one last thing, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. Just because she's pretty don't mean she's a good mom. So,
yeah, everyone's not a good mom. No, you know.
yeah.
So we did talk about. I know I told you about before. I was telling like my daughter. So I said I wish I knew about when I was 21 years old. Like I said about getting a house, whatever. She's paying rent now. I said, once you just get the house, keep yourself with the credit union, get the house, and you got four friends staying in the house. They're paying the rent on the house. And like I said, you're saving money. You're on a house. Your house will be paid off by the time you're 28 years old. And now you move college students into there, and you're making money off of that same house. Because you know what, Niagara Falls, Buffalo, you buy a house with $40,000, $50,000.
Not anymore though, but not anymore. Yeah.
But let's say $75,000. So you see $75,000, and you have 3 people paying you $400 a month for rent. That's $1,200 a month on a mortgage. Is what, $500-$600 a month. So it's just little small things like that. 21 years old, put yourself first, right? You gotta put yourself first, and then that way, because if you put yourself first, you can start building certain things. So that way, you can take care of more stuff as you get older later on, and just passing on knowledge, right? So a lot of times we don't share all the knowledge we got that we have that can help build somebody up financially, mentally, physically, things of those sort. Because I think we all have a background where it can help somebody, and sometimes people just have to listen, right, and be more open to different things to help themselves become better as well too. Last one for the question for the day is: if you had a rewind button, what would you change about yourself or life? What would you change?
I knew that question was gonna come.
Yeah, man.
I didn't even look at it.
It's a lot. I mean, it depends on where I'm stopping at. What part of my life and where am I stopping at? If I could change, if I can go back to high school, I probably would have gone. I would have loved to have gone to a different high school, suburban route, so because athletically, I didn't know I was being cheated back then. A lot of stuff that we didn't have in the Buffalo Public Schools that I didn't know was even a thing. So that, yeah, man, I don't want to make no disparaging comments about my personal situation, but yeah, man, like I'd have kept walking at that party.
You got rewind buttons.
Well, if I'd rewind, I would go back to 9th grade, but I don't like to rewind. Because when I think about rewinding, that means it's going to change the whole course of nature. And you wouldn't be sitting in that chair where you're sitting there right now. So
That's true.
But, it was a football experience I had. I had a headache when they had the tryouts, and I knew I was the best player on the team when we was in junior high school. And the next day, I just didn't go back completely, and I let it go. And that was just would have moved me and progressed me on to varsity when I got to high school a little bit quicker, because back then it wasn't no 9th graders playing varsity then, JV. They only started that a few years after that and stuff. But I wouldn't rewind it if I could. It'd be like Adam putting the apple back on the tree. Everything would change.
That's true. How about yourself?
I think I would rewind. I would take life for granted more, because I definitely had a reality check for the past couple years. I would hang out with my family more and make more memories and stuff.
Respect.
I'll say, man, if I rewind stuff, I'll probably change the school I went to. As far as Canisius, I still love Canisius and the MAC. I think I should have went to go play in the Atlantic 10. Opportunity to go play at UMass or Rhode Island. But if that happened, I wouldn't have my oldest daughters here. So, but like my dad said, if it happened, I wouldn't be sitting in this chair right here. So, but I wouldn't change anything, because I think the things that happened in the past made me the man I am today. I learned from different experiences, and just how to balance life, right? Because you're going to go through things no matter what. And if you start, like I said, if you change one thing from your past, you're going to change your whole future, the whole outcome. So, and again, whatever doesn't break you makes you stronger. So you can't go back changing stuff and just live what we can right now and go to the future and make the best of what we have.
Let bygones be bygones.
Yep.
That's right.
Okay, guys, I'm back. So how was your conversation?
It was good.
Pretty good, pretty
I
productive.
enjoyed it, yeah.
Do y'all think that y'all spoke to the teen boy that could be watching?
I hope so.
Any final takeaways?
Not really. I mean, I think we shared, you know, as much as we could at that time. So hopefully the young people are listening.
Yeah. Don't try to change what you didn't do. Don't try to turn back the hands of time.
All right. I thank you guys so much for your time and for sitting down with us. And if you like our programming and what we're doing on Overhead Letters, please like, share, comment, and donate. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. If you've enjoyed this episode of Letters from My Mama, please consider supporting us by subscribing to our channel, sharing this video with a friend, and donating to Letters TV. Thanks for watching.